Right boys, chest and arms. So we've got incline press first. I like doing my incline work first because the upper chest is lagging a little bit like a lot of people's are. So I'm gonna get that boxed off. Gonna do a warm-up set first. 1 or 2 sets of 6 to 8 usually. Sometimes I'll do a few reps on a very heavy weight that's close to my normal working weight. It just depends on how I'm feeling on the day. And then it's going to be 2 sets of 8 to 12. I think it might be 3. I'll have to see how long the camera battery lasts. So yeah, it's 3 sets, 8 to 12. Then we've got a bench press. I normally do barbell, but I'm probably going to get on the Smith. There's nothing wrong with doing a barbell bench press if you enjoy it and you feel like you get a lot out of it. Look how many people have done a barbell bench press over the years and built tons of muscle. So don't be part of that crew that thinks, oh yeah, you know, I'll do a barbell bench press, it's not as stable, like I'm not going to grow any muscle, it's a load of shit. You'll still grow off compound movements that have always been used forever and been proven to work. The human body hasn't changed over the last 20, 30, 40 years. It's exactly the same as it always has been. It responds to lifting heavy weights over time within certain rep ranges close to failure. That's my knowledge for today. Then I'm going to move on to a pec deck fly, 3 sets, 10 to 15. Rest time is whatever is necessary, usually a little bit shorter for isolation movements as they don't require as much energy. Then I'm going to go into, I do like a single arm preacher thing, I can't remember what it's called, but your arm's up here. 3 sets, 10 to 15, tricep extensions, but on the machine, which I'm really enjoying at the minute. 3 sets, 12 to 20, dips 10 to 15, and dual incline dumbbell curl, 10 to 15, 3 sets. So I like to go a little bit higher in the arms. My rep ranges are quite big. I like big rep ranges. It allows me to stay at the same weight for a while and not actually hit the top of my rep range properly with good technique before I then decide to go up. When using small weights for things like lateral raises and for curls, it's harder to go up in weight because the percentage increases are so big. Warm up set 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you'll see me when I get to the bottom, I'm here, elbows are all the way back, shoulders are back, big stretch, and then that helps you get more of a stretch on the chest. There's benefit to stretching a muscle under load for muscle building because of something called stretch-induced hypertrophy, which basically means that if you load a muscle when it is in a stretch position, it is more inclined to grow. So when you think about building muscle, always think stretch and contract. Don't just rep and do half reps. Yeah, there's no point. To be honest, I might as well just get rid of my earphones because I'm probably not going to use them all session. This video might be cut short because my mic is on low battery. I completely forgot to charge my mic. Typical. Sounds like me. I usually forget a lot of things. So I'm going to go. But I just put my phone in my bag and then forgot where my phone was. Gonna do set 1. I'm just hoping my mic's working. I imagine it is. I'm just gonna keep rolling. Set 1. Can't remember what weight I did. This is why I've not recorded a YouTube video for so long because I get distracted. 80 total. Got 12, 11, 11, which means that because the rep range is 8 to 12 and 3 sets, I have to hit the top of my rep range before I go up. So 3 good quality 12s I need before I can go up in weight. So set 1, let's get it. Piece of piss, to be fair, a lot easier than I would have thought. So I rest whatever's necessary. So the earlier sets get easier. The set 1's easier now, but then by the time I get to set 2 and 3, it's going to be significantly more difficult because you've already accumulated some fatigue on those early sets. So the thing is, people say like, oh, you know, you should take every set to failure, but the earlier sets are always going to be easier. If you do a top set and a back off and a couple of warm sets, I get that you will take every single set to failure. A lot of the time, every set is to failure or very, very close to. Like that one then, I could have maybe got 2 or 3 more, maybe. But that's just today. Next session, you know, I could do 3 more today, get 3 12s, go up next session, and then bang, you're weaker because you've pushed to failure on every set. So we need to train hard with good technique, but then we also need an adequate amount of volume. I do believe there's a balance of both. I think if you're just lifting as much as you can and hitting failure on every set, I don't like it. Because I just think when you do that and you get those 50-50 reps, next session, you're always just weaker. So you're best off managing it in a way where most of your sets are to failure, but then sometimes, because you've stayed at the same weight, they're not all to absolute failure. I've gone up a little bit. See, that was failure, because that was only that last rep. If I'd done any more than that, the technique would have gone. So that was enough. You know, what people do often is they'll do a heavy set-ish, and then they'll kind of work up to the working weight, whereas I don't do that. I just stay at pretty much one weight the whole time. And loads of people train like that. It's not anything magic, but I just prefer it. Sometimes set 1 you might get 12, set 2, 10, set 3, 8. Then it might be 12, 12. Last set you might end up with 9 or 10 next time you do it. And then you're trying to get 12, 12, 12 still, so you've got to keep working until you get those 3 sets at that rep range. Did go slightly heavier that time. I think that's probably about right though. So first set was 40 for 12, then it was 45 for 12. I don't normally do that, but it was a little bit too easy. It was like 3 reps in reserve, which I don't really go to at any point. The only thing I will say is that I never program reps in reserve. I never put that in a program, because I think naturally some sessions, and I don't care who you are, this is the case for everybody. I'm not bothered who you are, who you think you are. There's always going to be sessions when you don't go as heavy. There's always going to be that. You're going to have an off day. Some days you might think that you're pushing yourself, when in reality you're not. I'll just move my camera because I'm moving kit in. Sometimes it's your perception. You'll have a skewed perception. You think you're going to failure, but failure on the day is not really true failure, because you've just not got it in you. So I never give people reps in reserve in a program, but I just always believe in people should give it what they can on the day. So if they can get an extra rep or 2, get it. If not, they're probably going to stay the same, and that's fine. You're always going to have days when you're not as well fed. You've not slept as much. The recovery's not going to be as good. That is just normal. Everybody's like that. Everybody. Doesn't matter how well you try to manage your recovery. Even the top guys will still have a day where they're not as strong. That's normal. So that's why I never put reps in reserve in a program. I don't think it needs to be put in. I think if you give it everything you can on the day, you're going to have days where you're not strong. That's normal. You're going to have days where you've got more reps in the tank, maybe 1 or 2 because you hit the top of your rep range. That's normal. Okay. Just as long as you put 100% in. The thing is, a lot of people, they don't put 100% in like they should do. They put like 50% in, or 80%, 70%. Like, that's not okay, because you're just not trying at that point. Like, I look at a lot of people like, oh, I'm trying. I'm like, mate, you've got 8 reps in the tank there. You've got 10 reps in the tank. I've pushed people past where they stopped, and they've got 5, 6, 7, 8 more reps. So a lot of the time, you have a lot more in you than you think. Last one. I'm surprised at how easy those first 2 were, to be honest. Must be pretty strong today. It's not going again. That's well done. So usually, if you got heavier in your earlier sets, you get less on your last set. So it all just balances out, in my opinion. People say, oh, well, if you train harder, you can do less sets. Yeah, maybe to an extent, but you still need adequate volume. You still have to hit enough sets. Otherwise, these guys that train super hard would just do one exercise and one set and just get stronger forever, and that's it. But they don't do that. They'll do multiple exercises for a muscle group with one, probably more sets than one. So that confirms that volume over the course of a week or a session is important still. That's well done, do that. It's a bit of a cold. Cold. So yours?
Yeah, I mean, like I say, it's just like where I'm you get stuff through, you can't sleep, it's still comfortable.
This is going to be interesting. These Smiths feel stiff as fuck. So you'll notice every single piece of kit you get on, that's different brands at different gyms will be different weights. So if you're training at a new gym or with a new piece of kit, like this is a new Smith, you're not going to know what weights you need to use. Do more warm-up sets. Do 2, 3, 4 warm-up sets. You know, even if it's just 1, 2, 3 reps, it doesn't matter. You're just getting a feel for things. You're trying to judge how heavy you need to go to get within that rep range and still hit failure. That's light as fuck. That is so light, lad. Looks light as fuck, mate. What do you need? Do you need these 20s here? Or I'll go grab some actually. It's alright, I'll grab these. So one plate's like mega light, stuck another one on, and then 2 plates heavy as fuck. So probably go somewhere in the middle, like plate and a half or something. But when you do like your incline press work stuff first, like if you do a machine first, or you do a fly first, then you're always not going to be able to press as much weight. But it's not a problem because you're still getting stronger across all your lifts, but you just won't be able to lift as much. Sometimes it's good for injury prevention, said that wrong then, to do like your isolation work or maybe like your machine work before you go and do your compound stuff. Right, let's get it. It'd help if bench was straight like. Gonna do another set of 8 to 12 on that weight because the 80 was too heavy and then 60 was all right for the rep range. So do another one at that, see what we can do. Get 2 proper sets in then. And then next time we get 2 12s, it's gonna be 70 kilos, maybe 80, depending on, well, it's probably more likely gonna be 70 if I've only got 5 at 80 on my first set. So, like I said, always do my incline stuff work first. On shoulders and arms, I do lateral raises first because I like to just get some blood into the muscle. It feels good. Doing a lateral raise first just feels good. So there's nothing wrong with slightly changing the order, but I just would never do arm work at the beginning. So I'd never do like triceps before any sort of chest pressing movement, or biceps before any sort of rowing or pull down movement for your back, because you're going to fatigue your arms. And if you have lagging arms, it's all right, but you're going to be struggling your whole back session. You're not going to be able to hit your back properly. It's the same with the triceps and the chest. If you do like rope tricep extensions, overhead extensions, you're doing a dumbbell skull crusher, you're doing loads of stuff for triceps. Before you go and do this, there's no way you'll be able to effectively do this and get any chest growth, I guarantee. So always still do the bigger muscle groups at the beginning to a degree. Like, you require your arms to do your pushing and pull work, so you're going to have to do them at the end, really. What I do suggest is, if you have any lagging body parts, just hit those muscles at a higher frequency. So for me, I really struggle to grow my arms out of everything. So arms get done 3 times a week. I was doing them 4 times a week, but they get done 3 times a week at some point. So on chest and arms, I hit biceps and triceps. On pull, I just do biceps. On legs, I just do legs, because I was going to do arms. I used to do arms and legs, but my arms were battered by that point in the week. So that's on Wednesday. Rest Thursday. Shoulders and arms Friday, which obviously includes arms, and then back and hamstrings. But when you're doing your back, you're still going to hit some biceps. So high frequency, in my opinion, for lagging body parts is the best option. Yeah, let's get the last set done. I need to hurry up. Was not going past that point then. I also don't use like any intensifiers. Don't use rest pauses. Don't use cluster sets. Personally, on myself, because I'd rather just get stronger at straight sets and I enjoy it more. Other people get bored, but I'm not really that bothered about changing things all the time. I prefer just sticking to the same plan and getting good at what I do. Big dog. Alright mate, how are you? So boys, looks like fucking Christmas came early. I don't have a flat chest press in this workout. Well, I've obviously got the Smith press, but we didn't have a flat chest press before that, like a plate loaded one. That is like this. So we only had like some decline one, but I wasn't a massive fan of it because it takes your hands really wide. Feels like you're gonna snap your shoulders off. So, gonna give this a whirl. So this is what I was saying about, if you don't know what weight to use, You just blag it. Just see what feels hard. It's a fucking good chest press art. Let's try 60. Try 60, see what that's saying. I just stick with like the classic hypertrophy rep ranges most of the time. It's not going again, that. I'm just going to do one more set of that and then see what we get, and then just go and do a fly. Feels pretty decent. The only thing is, because the angle of the handles are like that, it flares your elbows quite a lot, which puts quite a bit of pressure on the shoulders. But if you just don't grip it properly, you can turn it, and then you can turn your hand and then just have it on the palm of your hand, and you can drop your elbow a little bit. That tends to help with like shoulder pain and stuff, because if I go too wide and have my elbows too flared, then I tend to just get like shoulder injuries, like little things here and there, nothing major, but you just want to avoid injury to the best of your ability, especially when taking sets close to failure as well. So when you've done a few hard sets, yeah, like people always say, oh, don't sit on your phone. What the fuck else am I going to do for 3 minutes? Like, there's only so much chewing air off you can do. I don't know how much charge is even left on here. Oh, and then we're going to go and do flies. Let's get it. I stopped talking at this point in the session. Social battery's gone, isn't it? Go on, lads. 2 more. It's really heavy when you get close to lockout, so you can get a decent stretch and it'll sort of pull your hands apart, and then it converges so it comes in. But it's really heavy at that lockout. So yeah, that's that. So it's going to go and do flies. Three sets of 10 to 15. I tend to do isolation work at slightly higher reps, just to get blood to the muscle, because I've already done all the heavy shit at lower reps. Little tip for flies. Everyone says like keep your arms straight, but if you keep your arms straight on a fly, put loads of pressure on your elbow joint, you can't really perform the exercise properly. So as you come back, bend your elbows a little bit more like you're doing a press, and you can actually get more of a stretch on the chest, and also you'll protect your elbow joint as well. When you come forward, that's when you want to start to straighten your arms out, because what a lot of people do is they'll kind of hug it and then they're not actually bringing the upper arm across the body to contract the chest properly. Slightly shorter rest on your isolation work as well, because you're just not going to need it. Even if you go really hard, you're not going to need as much rest on a pec deck fly using pretty much one muscle as you would on like a heavy press, because you're not really, even though you're stretching the muscle, you're not really loading the stretch position as much, and you're not causing as much damage to the muscle because of that. And because you're using one muscle, not multiple, again, you won't need as long off. So in terms of rest times for building muscle, it's pretty much just whatever you need. I find that for the big stuff, 2 to 3 minutes, 1 to 2 for the smaller stuff, unless you're going mega heavy doing like a squat or something. Set 2, so that's probably like a minute or 2, but should be good to go now. Depends on how fresh you feel. Sometimes when you're in a deficit dieting, you'll need an extra minute or 2 off. I'm not going to stretch as much this time because I feel it puts pressure on my shoulders past a certain point. I need to put the weight back up. One more set. It's getting hard to get to that shortened position where the chest is fully contracted, especially because I did that press before, and because it converges, it was really difficult when the muscle was fully contracted and the arms were a bit straighter. One more. Proper rest time. And then we'll go again. So I've gone down a bit on this today, but as long as my heavy shit goes up, like, it's natural, like you might go up on one movement and then go down on the next movement for the same muscle, but what you're looking for is strength over time. You're not looking to get, add 5 kilos every single session, because it's not realistic and it's just not going to happen. If that was the case, all these guys saying, oh yeah, the only thing that matters is strength, they'd be bench pressing 500 kilos. It just doesn't happen. Yeah, you can put a kilo on every so often or whatever, but like, nobody has the perfect formula to it. Nobody has the perfect amount of sets, perfect amount of exercises, perfect exercises. Like, everybody trains fairly differently to an extent. So, I find what works for you, and I find this is working pretty well for me at the minute, so I'm going to stick with it. Just stick with what works. Do you want to jump in? No? Yeah. Just wait a little bit in the stretch, when you get to that stretch point, keep going. Then go. Yeah. You don't have to stop dead, but just don't bounce out of that stretch. There we go. Just jump in next time.
Yeah.
65. How's food in that? Yeah. Fucked, mate. There's a new plate loaded chest press over there, but it's not like the decline one. Do you know that other one that we have? It's like a decline, isn't it? Do you know, like the handles like that? It's a bit dodgy. That one's better, to be fair. Feels alright.